Right, so today's video is about step sequencing within Ableton Live. And if you guys have seen my previous videos, I did a shorts video at the end of last week, which I called a MIDI hack. But actually it's step sequencing, and there was quite a lot of interest in that, so I thought I'd expand on that because there's quite a lot more to it than what I showed you. So the first thing I want to remind you of is, in order for step sequencing to work, you need a MIDI track. So you can just do that by selecting a section, clicking insert MIDI clip, but I've already done that. You need this blue button to be on so you can actually hear what you're playing. If that's not on, it's not going to work. And obviously you need the recording arm enabled so you can record what you're playing. The next thing to know is the grids. You want either an adaptive grid or a fixed grid. I'm going to switch on the fixed grid at 1/4 notes. In fact, I'm going to switch it on at 1/2 notes. And the reason for that is the steps are going to be in that half note. So if you select 1/16, you're going to have a lot more steps and they're going to sound a lot faster. So let's just stick with half notes, and we're just going to audition now some chords. And as you can see, as I'm playing the chords, the notes on the piano roll go red. So once you've found the chord that you like, then you can go in and press the chord and press the right key, and that prints the chord to the grid. And now we will select another key. So as you can see, I'm just auditioning different chords, but I'm not going to print it until I press the right key. So let's just play the A minor key there. So I like that one. And I like that one. So let's listen to that. Okay, so that sounds pretty good, but there's a lot more to it than that. So you can play the chord, and as you can see, you can extend the length over multiple bars. And by pressing the left key, you can reduce the length as long as you've got that chord held down. And I'm going to play another chord. So that's going over 2. And if I want a space, I just click the right key without playing anything, and then I will play another chord. Now the other thing it can do is record velocity. So if I want to play the chord really loud, I will just do that. And it records the velocity. If I want to play it very softly, it records the velocity. Let's listen to that. At any stage, if I want to go back and fill a space with something, I will just go back using the keyboards and just press a note, and that note gets printed. So where this can get really super useful is things like arpeggios. And I actually like this method more than using a standard out-of-the-box arpeggiator or even the Ableton arpeggiator, because you have complete control over what you do. Even if you're not the best keyboard player in the world, you can go in and create the arpeggiator based on the notes that you want. So I'm playing now an E minor chord. I'm going to arpeggiate it by playing one note at a time. And just note that I've got this down to an 1/8 grid, so it's going to play faster. Now listen to this. So I'm just playing all the notes in the E minor chord. And you know, if I want now, I can go off and have a cup of tea and it's still there. But what I'm going to do is play the 7th note in the chord. Okay, I had to think about where it was, but it doesn't matter when you're step sequencing. I'm just going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to play a couple more times. Now at this point, I can just not follow the pattern of the arpeggiator and just come up with something else. Okay, and once you've got that done, you can just loop and repeat that by pressing Select or Control and Control D. Now where it works really well is having a arpeggiator on top of another arpeggiator, or a bass line on top of the other arpeggiator, and I can just simply go back to my E minor chord. So I'm just going to arm the next track. Let's listen to them together. And you can just loop that as many times as you want. So even if you don't know how to play in an E minor chord or a chord of your choosing, you can just go into the scale MIDI effect and then select minor. So we want E minor. If you wanted a major, you'd select major, but we want E minor for this one because the song's in E minor. And every note I play is going to be in E minor. So let's just go back into here. Just make sure we've got 1/8 selected. We have, and we can audition the sounds. A space. Now, just so I didn't like that bass line, not a problem. Just delete and start again and try something else. And of course, if you do not like duplicating stuff, easy. All you need to do is just make the length of the bar shorter. Press Ctrl J to consolidate and just press loop and it'll just bring everything across. Now, if I want to, once again, staccato these, you can just make them a bit shorter. So I hope that helped. I think I've said everything I need to say, but if there's anything I've missed, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I think this is really a game changer in terms of how to use Ableton. Not a lot of people seem to know about step sequencing, but it is a lot of fun and it's pretty easy to use. And you don't even need to have music theory knowledge. You could just use the scale feature. So have fun, guys. Bye.